telling the truth, I'd like to confirm.
Hey, I've been getting the runaround for 2 hours, and I'm
Well, can you
coming
tell
up
me
on
approximately how much money was missing? Was it over $1,000?
Mr. Watson.
Lighten up, lady. I just want to be your friend.
Does your wife know you're looking for friends?
All I said was morning.
You can go blind from that, you know.
I'll take my chances.
Can you catch this for me?
That's what the sign says, don't it? What are you doing Friday night?
Friday? I'll be in Paris.
What about Saturday?
London.
If I go blind, it'll be your fault.
Today's the first round of the mixed doubles celebrity surfing championships in Laguna Beach.
So?
I just thought maybe this year Billy and you might want to enter.
I don't think Billy knows how to surf.
Oh. Oh, this one's kind of interesting. Seems a couple out in Pacoima trying to halt the construction of a freeway there.
What's the problem?
Well, it seems that the off-ramp will go right through their living room.
Oh. Be convenient getting to work.
This guy works at home.
See if you can tear Martinson away from writing his novel long enough to cover it.
Yeah, I'll ask him real nicely.
I'm putting Rossi on that Pasadena robbery case.
What about Billy?
Oh, she's still on the south side with the animal at Carson's office. Rossi?
Do you want me, Luke?
Want is too strong a word. Elderly woman in Pasadena surprised some jewel thieves in her apartment. Beat them up with golf clubs.
I wonder what kind of club she used.
Well, from my days as a caddy, in a situation like that, I'd call for my 9-iron.
I'll get on it right away.
A pretty fancy neighborhood out there. Don't embarrass us.
Don't worry.
It's the small fork for the salad, right?
That's right.
Spoon is for soup.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We got a great interview with the councilman.
Terrific.
He admitted receiving the money but denied there was anything improper about it. He said that it was a legitimate contribution with which he built himself a jacuzzi.
You get a picture of him in the tub?
Yeah, but he was working on city business while he soaked. You have anything for us?
Anything for Billy?
I think that's it.
What about that murder on the south side?
Black, female, about 30. Nothing special about it.
Where are you?
At Alameda and 63rd.
Young black woman was robbed and murdered at 5850 South Main.
That's a few blocks from here.
As long as you're in the neighborhood, take a look.
Will do.
You're in pretty rough territory. Be careful.
The animal's here with me.
Yeah. Don't let anybody hurt him.
We're from the Trib.
Yes, I'm Sergeant Chandless.
What have you got?
A black female, age 24.
Any leads?
No one saw or heard a thing.
Mind if we take a look?
I wouldn't if I were you.
I've seen murders before.
Not like this one. At least I hope not.
It's because I'm a woman, right? I'm sure you let the other reporters in.
What other reporters?
Nobody else showed?
I'm surprised to see you two. A murder down here isn't exactly news.
It's me, Sandra. Is that you, Sandra? Yes, ma'am. You can open the door. It's just me and the police are out here.
This must have made some noise.
Yep. You'd think somebody would have heard something.
What about the neighbors?
Well, see no evil, hear no evil, and maybe no evil's gonna come busting down your door. You know what I mean? You could fire off a cannon in here and nobody'd hear it.
Well, I think I'd like to go in and look around.
Don't.
I want a story, and the story's in there.
Hi. Hi. Lisa? Come on.
When did you realize that something was wrong?
Oh, when I walked through my door and saw 4 masked men ransacking my apartment. Right about that time, I suspected something was amiss.
Well, how did one lady manage to rout a gang of thugs?
I'm Irish, young man. Well, actually, they were so surprised to see me, they kind of froze.
Then what happened?
I reached into my closet where I keep my golf bag and pulled out a 7-iron. I put that back because the shot really called for a wood.
What was the assessed dollar value of the jewelry?
I don't want to invite any more robberies. Let's just say $200,000.
Was all the jewelry recovered?
Thank heavens, yes. They're of priceless sentimental value to me. Gifts from my 3rd husband. Or was it my 4th?
How'd the thieves get in the building? It took me 10 minutes to get by 2 doormen and the TV monitors.
We think they came in from the roof, Joe, but we're not sure.
Any leads?
We're looking for 4 men, one of whom has a gash over his left eye.
That's not much to go on.
We have a good record in cases like this. You can be pretty sure we'll get him.
Well, anyway, she said she'd slept with every important person in the capital during the early 50s.
I was there 52 through 58.
You look familiar?
No.
She said influential.
Bury it. We don't want to encourage that sort of thing. Next, they'll be going after journalists.
Yeah, one can only hope.
Italy's on the verge of a new government.
That's not news. What's that, the 3rd since January?
What's the record for most governments in a single year?
14 by the old Chicago Cubs.
Listen, you guys can joke, but I drive a Fiat. What happens if the communists get in?
Worst that'll happen is they'll make you carpool.
Okay, what else?
Pork bellies may or may not go up.
That's quite a bombshell, Adam. When will we know for sure?
Probably tonight.
I'll call you at home.
Fine.
And I'll call the rest of you guys and let you know so you won't be worried.
Hey, come on, guys. What else?
Rossi's story, the burglary.
I love it. It's kind of upbeat, too. Little lady beats marauders off with golf clubs. It's nice to read that as you're buttering your toast. You can start your day off feeling anything's possible.
Page 1?
Why not? I mean, we can use an upbeat story. Anything else?
I got one more thing. Billy's story on the murder in South Central. Black female, age 30, one child, age 7.
Anything unusual about it?
Well, I guess not. Robbery that got out of hand, no clues. It's well written, though. Nice angle on the kid.
Uh-huh. Take it inside someplace. Thank you, gentlemen.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
Work boots. There's one place they don't work. Inside.
Can you hold the elevator, please? Would you hold it, please? Oh, thanks, honey.
You're welcome, dear.
Mrs. Pinchot.
Good morning, Mr. Hume.
I didn't mean to call you, honey.
What did you mean to call me?
You see, you have a copy of the Trib.
Clever segue, Mr. Hume. Yes, I have a copy of the Trib. And I thoroughly enjoyed Mr. Rossi's piece this morning.
Isn't that something?
I know what those jewel thieves were up against. I've played golf with Mrs. Walker.
Powerful drive, huh?
Her only weakness is a tendency to slice off the tee.
She was right down the fairway last night, I understand.
I remember one charity event.
Yeah.
On the 14th hole,
Yeah.
she dropped her approach shot into a shallow pond. She had the gall to demand a fresh lie, and she got away with it. I suppose the $10,000 she donated had some effect on the officials, but those thieves walked right into a buzzsaw.
I think this is something that people want to read about. Plucky old ladies are always fun.
Yes. Plucky, mature women, such as Mrs. Walker, always make lively copy. Or was there something you wanted to see me about, Mr. Hume?
Oh, no.
Well, have a pleasant morning.
Yeah. Plucky old ladies.
I've got to hand it to me. This is good. I'm a good writer.
And modest, too.
Modesty is the opiate of the mediocre.
Lou? I'm a little upset, and I'd like to talk to you.
Okay.
It's not vanity,
It never is.
but I'd like to know how my story can be so unimportant as to end up on page 26 opposite the shipping news.
Shipping news is important. It's not as important as it was in the old U-boat days, sure, but it's still the first thing I turn to in the morning.
Look at the front page and look at page 26.
What's your point?
If the color of those women were reversed, Rossi's story would be competing with the horoscope for a column on page 45.
Oh, hey, it's a feisty little lady out in Pasadena. We know a lot about her. We know she goes to Palm Springs, she plays golf, she likes 17th century vases. She's interesting.
She's white.
It's not what put her on page 1.
Then why is she there?
Because people fighting back is news. People getting murdered isn't. I don't like it any more than you. There are 150 murders in South Central L.A. each year. They can all be page 1.
Well, isn't that a story in itself?
Maybe. But until you give me more, it's just a question. And I just can't get Charlie Hume to run questions on his front page.
Look, can I follow up on this?
You mean, see what you can find out about Marla Evans? About who Marla Evans was, who her friends were, whether she was a teacher or a hooker, or both. Whether she was good to her mother, her kid, her dog, You mean make her newsworthy and unique so that her life story becomes so compelling that when I go into that conference, I can say, Charlie, this is a story. You mean that kind of thing?
Yeah.
If you insist.
That was very nice.
What do you mean?
The way you handled Billy.
I don't handle anybody.
Come on. I saw the old psychologist at work. The way you motivated her instead of just beating her down. The way you got her all hyped up and pointed in the right direction. All the time letting her think it was her idea. You know, beneath that gruff exterior is a man who understands the subtlety of motivational psychology. It's a gift.
Get back to work, Donovan, or you'll be out looking for another job.
See what I mean?
Who is it?
Billy Newman. I'm a reporter with the Trib.
Well, listen, we have nothing to say.
Well, I'd like to ask you a few questions. It won't take much time.
We've already told the police. My mother didn't see anything.
Not about that. I just want to ask you a few questions about Marla Evans.
Just a minute. Marla Evans was special. A good neighbor, a good mother, a decent person.
Do you know of any enemies she might have had?
Listen, you don't need enemies to get yourself killed around here.
Then you don't think that there was a personal connection between Marla and her murderer?
On the 1st and 15th, welfare checks go out. I think that was their connection.
Didn't she work?
She went to school full-time, training to be a nurse. Now, she worked on Saturday off the books, because that's the day I watched little Lisa, and I looked forward to that.
Where's Lisa now?
They took her to a foster home on Alvarado.
She's a beautiful little girl.
Just like her mother. And very bright. You know, she reads well.
Tell me more about Marla.
Marla wrote letters for the people in the building.
What letters?
Complaints. You know, like there being no lights in the hallway or windows being broken, stuff like that there.
Would anything happen?
At first, they would get fixed. Then they would get broken again. And finally, the owners just stopped fixing anything.
Who owns this building?
I don't know. I know the rent is sent to Stonehurst Rentals, but they're just the managers. I don't know who's going to take over writing the letters now. Well, I'd better get some dinner started.
I guess I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you.
Don't be such a child. What about your wife?
It's a shame that your mother didn't see or hear anything.
She has the TV on most of the time, and then her hearing was not the best.
I'd really best be on my way.
If you think of anything else about Marla, will you give me a call?
Of course.
Will I see you again?
Suppose you heard about the Kansas City thing?
No.
Well, that's why she came here. About 3 years ago in Kansas City, her husband was robbed of $1.50 by a gang of kids. Then they killed him because that was all he had. Marla came to California because she thought it was safer.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
People are going to think we're married.
Huh?
Look at us. We're not talking, we're not looking at each other. We look like we're married.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lou. I'm not feeling very sociable.
Billy,
Yeah, Lou?
you invited me to lunch.
Well, I just didn't want to eat alone in the mood I'm in. I went back to the building where Marla Evans was murdered. Lou, it's like a prison there. The people are all terrified. And all they do is put another lock on their door and turn up their TV.
It's a damn city that does it. There's no connection between people, no involvement.
What do you mean?
I grew up in a small town in Michigan. It was old, it was poor. People were sometimes hungry. But it was a community. You knew the faces. You could see the way things happened. If there was a hint of trouble brewing, people would be out sitting on their front porches instead of locking themselves away. The way to stop trouble is to be visible, not invisible.
That's my point. How visible is it if we're the only paper to even mention the killing? And we give it a paragraph on page 26.
No, man. These were all male Caucasians. White. Yeah, thanks for calling.
Phone's been ringing off the hook in Mrs. Walker's case.
It's nothing like a $5,000 reward to get the old civic juices flowing, is it?
You are a real cynic. Rossi. That's why I like you.
Any of the calls pan out?
And one may be promising. Nurse called. She was struck by your article.
Oh, yeah? She sounded cute?
She sounded tired. Seems a couple of hours after the robbery, she treated a guy that had a large gash over his left forehead.
Mrs. Walker's hole-in-one?
Maybe.
Or maybe he cut himself shaving his eyebrows.
He said he fell down some stairs. Now, the nurse called him back. It was a phony number. The address he listed was a supermarket. Not that that's that unusual. Emergency rooms get a lot of that.
Maybe his girlfriend hit him and he didn't want his wife to know.
Whatever. She's on her way down now to look at some mugshots.
Mrs. Walker, won't you give me some information about why you've been called in today?
Oh, isn't it mysterious?
Yes, it's very mysterious.
Miss, you can talk to Mrs. Walker in a few minutes. Right now, she has to look at some pictures for us, okay? Right this way. Thank you.
Joe, what's going on?
Nothing. Same old yawn.
Tell me nothing. She's been called out for some reason.
Telling you to go back to the paper. Don't waste your time here.
Mrs. Walker, who could possibly have known that you would be out of town for an extended period of time?
No one.
You didn't tell anyone?
No. Except, of course, the building security people. They knew.
Huh?
And I told the cleaners because they had my suede jacket. At first, I thought I'd take it with me, and then I thought, no, it would be too...
So that would be the security people and the cleaners. Now, was there anyone else?
The dairy, of course.
Of course.
And I stored my furs.
Mrs. Walker, now we're going to need the names of anybody who could possibly have known that you'd be gone with,
Could I speak to you for a second?
Sure. Excuse me.
That nurse picked out Willie Nash as the man she treated.
Wow. Looks like old cat burglars have 9 lives, too. Pick him up, run him through the lineup, see if Mrs. Walker can put a positive ID on him, and tell the nurse to wait a minute. I want to talk to her. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
She wants to know about the reward.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Miss, Detective Collins? Detective Collins, about this reward, could you fill us in a little more on the reward aspect of the case?
Hello, Mrs. Walker.
Hello.
I'd just like to go over a few points with you.
Of course, officer.
Listen, Mrs. Walker, I gotta level with you. I've been getting a lot of heat from the commissioner on this case. Now, is there anything you've been holding back that we should know about?
Maybe if we went to your office.
I don't really have an office. They wanted to give me one, but I just didn't want to get stuck at a desk. I'm sort of a lone wolf.
I think I told you everything.
Let's try a new tack. What about Mrs. Walker, the person? You know, her likes, dislikes. What makes Mrs. Walker tick?
You really think that would be of any help to you?
I wouldn't be at all surprised.
Well, to tell you the truth, I never would have done a stupid thing like reaching for that club if I hadn't had 4 martinis at dinner.
That's good. That's good.
It is?
Oh, it's good that you're telling me all this.
Ask number 3 to speak.
Number 3, read the statement.
Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country.
I don't know. This man's voice sounds deeper. Try number 2 again.
The
this isn't to tell the truth, Mrs. Walker. Now, do you or don't you see a man who was in your apartment that night?
Maybe if they all put on masks.
I'm going to have to release them. All right, you can all...
Wait! It's number 4. Definitely number 4.
Are you sure?
Can't you just hold them over till tomorrow while I think about it?
How many do you have?
It varies. We have 6 now, counting Lisa. We try to provide some stability, some love, you know? To let them know that someone cares, even just a little.
Has Lisa been this quiet since she arrived?
Oh, Miss Newman, she hasn't spoken a word since she arrived. Not one word.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
You've got to be kidding. When'd they do that?
Yesterday.
No, that's typical. It's typical.
I can find out who owned that building. Because it would take me all afternoon, and you could tell me in 30 seconds. Don't call mean, honey. Is that so? That was your friend Higgins at the Hall of Records.
He's a character, isn't he?
I can think of a better word to describe him.
You know, Higgins can be very helpful sometimes.
Did he ever ask you to sleep with him in return for his help?
He asked me to go camping with him once.
Billy, I need you to go out to Encino. Follow up on that construction slowdown.
I can't, Lou. I'm going to be gone all day.
Well, something I should know about?
I've got to follow up on some background material for my Marla Evans story.
You're spending a lot of time on that, aren't you?
Yes, I am. So what?
So nothing. Just trying to help, that's all.
Well, don't bother.
You know, you could listen to me. I'm a little more experienced than you.
And what does your experience tell you?
That this is a low percentage shot, that all this work's going to get you nowhere. You know, it's not the only story in town.
Oh, you don't have to tell me. All I have to do is pick up a copy of the Trib to find out what's important in this town. I'd like to know how this plucky little lady from Pasadena can become the media darling of L.A. while the Marla Evans story gets buried. And don't tell me how brave Mrs. Walker is. Don't you think Marla Evans was brave? Don't you think that it took a lot of guts just for her to get up each day?
We're not on opposite sides, Billy.
Then why do I feel all alone over here?
Because you're so involved in this Marla Evans story that you've lost all objectivity as a reporter.
Well, isn't it lucky that I have you here to show me the error of my ways?
Hey, listen. In L.A. today, there were 100 things that needed to be covered. Out of that 100, I picked 15 that I thought had to be covered, and I sent the people out there. When those reporters get back, they will all be convinced that they've got front-page stuff. But they're going to have to sell me first, because in order for me to go in there and sell it, I've got to be convinced. Don't keep telling me about this poor woman. Give me the ammunition to sell it, because I'm not going in there unarmed.
Well, give me more time, and I'll get it.
Well, how much time you want?
I'd like a week.
What if I gave you a day?
I'd grab it and run like a thief.
You got it.
You're like putty in her hands, you know that? Although that's not necessarily a bad thing.
All I do is collect the rents.
Who owns the building?
No, I can't tell you that.
Why not?
Because I'll lose my job. And if I lose my job, I'll lose my pad. Now, if I lose my pad, I'll lose my old lady. If I lose my old lady, I'll lose my...
I don't want to know what you lose. How long have you worked here?
Oh, about 2 years now. Going for my license at night, you know.
No, I didn't. But then we've just met.
Land. That's where all of the money is. Always has been, always will be. Real estate. Get it? They ain't making no more of that stuff.
Those buildings are a disgrace.
Well, I mean, those buildings are old and nobody's going to pay any money to fix them up.
What about the tenants?
They can always move.
Do you know the name Marla Evans?
So that's what this is, huh? I should have known it. Look, I got a drawer full of letters here from Marla Evans. The lady has been one big pain in my life. Doors don't lock. The windows don't work. The plumbing is backed up.
Listen, just let me...
No, wait a minute. I don't want to hear it, okay? I don't want to hear it. I don't care what the problem is. As far as I'm concerned, I hope that I never hear from Marla Evans again.
Well, don't worry about that. You won't.
Don't mention it.
Well, I know you like to watch the ball games on Saturdays.
Not necessarily.
Oh, Lou, cut it out. I appreciate your coming. That's all.
Okay.
There's a chair empty in our choir loft today because the Lord wanted a sweet-voiced singer for his own heavenly choir. And so he called Marla Evans to his side. I know he must have a plan. But right now, in our grief and in our anger, it's hard to understand why he would take Sister Marla away from us and away from little Lisa. She is not easily replaced. The world may not have known Sister Marla, but we did. She may not have been important in who she was, but she was important in what she was. She was a very special friend. When she wasn't working, Sister Marla would spend her time taking care of the children of her friends who did have jobs. And when she would get a job herself, she did not forget those less fortunate than her. I can picture Sister Marla so clearly now. I can picture her with a bunch of children around her. I can picture her busting into my office, demanding my support for the latest good fight. I can picture her in everything but death. That is a picture I had hoped I would not live to see. Will the choir now give us Hush? Somebody's calling my name.
Bossy, this is Saturday. Don't you ever take a day off?
I had a day off last year. Come on, Collins, you know Nash must be your guy, yet you let him go. What's it all about?
I can't hold someone for having a cut over his left eye.
But you could at least ask him a few questions.
Which he wouldn't have to answer, so we'd just be wasting everybody's time.
Bill, you better see this.
Thank you. Anything the people in L.A. should know about?
Could be.
I'd be happy to be the one to tell them.
I'll bet you would.
I would. Come on, Collins. You owe me one since '75. This could be the perfect time for me to call it in.
Rossi, you're a good reporter.
I know that. I know that. What I don't know is what's in your hand.
All right. How'd you like to be in on it when we nail Willie Nash?
Not that much. Which arm would you like, the left one or the right? This is the cops' list of people who in any way, shape, or form knew about Mrs. Walker going out of town.
Very impressive. Looks like most of L.A.
And this is a list of known second-story men who fit the job's M.O. They patched them through a computer and got a match.
Sort of like computer dating.
Yeah. Now, stop me if this gets too complicated. Before Mrs. Walker left town, she stored her furs.
I'm with you so far.
Furry's name is Arnold Hanson. 10 years ago in Chicago, Arnold Hanson had a partner, Willie Nash. Arnold Hanson lives in Mrs. Walker's building, and he knows when someone's going out of town, someone with money, because, well, stores furs, right?
So Hanson tips off Willie Nash, and he helps Willie get in the building, and Willie makes his score.
Yeah.
How are they going to prove it?
The cops had a woman call Hanson and set him up, said she'd be out of town 3 weeks, wanted to store the furs, the whole thing. He didn't get anything last time, and they think maybe he's got to be desperate to make another score.
I think he'd be a little gun-shy.
No, they picked up some noise on the street. They think the score is going to be made tonight. And I get to be there.
I'm so glad you got here. They finally located Lisa's aunt. She's flying out tomorrow.
Well, that's good news anyway.
She sounded like a lovely woman. Shame she had to miss the funeral.
Will they be going right back to St. Louis?
I guess so. It would probably be best. Lisa? Lisa? She was right here most of the afternoon.
Oh, no! Call Sergeant Chandless at the South Central Division and tell him Lisa Evans ran away. I'm going to try to find her.
This'll do it for you?
Yeah. Okay. You got ice cream in?
Yeah, by the window. Hey, what about your groceries?
You eat them.
Crazy junkies.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E. A&E returns to Lou Grant.
Is this going to be a dry hole?
I'd be surprised.
Second story guys, they're not the kind who carry guns, are they?
It depends.
I mean, Cary Grant on the Riviera, remember? He just wanted the jewels. He never carried a gun.
Nash is not Cary Grant. But then again, who is?
Okay. Say he carries a gun, just for argument's sake. He'd carry one of those small little guns, right? Just to scare people.
He'd carry a .38.
38? How good's a chair in stopping a .38 caliber bullet?
No good at all unless it's made out of lead.
So where's the best place for me to be?
In the city room.
I got cramps in my leg.
You can't get up.
Lisa? Lisa? Oh, God. Lisa. Lisa? Hi, Lisa. Hi.
Apartment. He scared the hell out of us.
Lady, what are you talking about?
What were you doing in there?
I seen the kid go in there. I was worried about her, that's all. I know she lost her mother.
Did he touch you, Lisa?
No, but...
Did he threaten you?
I don't threaten nobody. I'm telling the truth.
It's all right, ladies. Everything's under control. Come on. Let's go outside and cool off a little bit. Hey, wait. What is it, lady?
That's him. That's the one.
What are you talking about?
That's the man that knocked Marla's door down.
Did you read Rossi's feature on Mrs. Walker?
Yeah, I read it.
I don't think he's ever been better.
Me neither. I couldn't change a word.
Why is it that guys that write as well as Rossi always have personalities like Rossi?
Maybe if the two of us went over it together, we could find something wrong with it. Look, Rat. Hi, Billy. They did. They think they caught the guy who killed the Evans woman. Billy's in on it. That's great. You okay? Good. Sure, there's time to make the first edition. All right, hold on. I'll get your rewrite. Sam!
I lost all feeling in this leg.
What are you worried about? You don't write with your legs, do you?
Mr. Nash, I presume?
They did a survey which found that kids today are more conservative than they were in 1950.
Who did the survey? William F. Buckley?
That's what they found.
I don't think they interviewed my kids.
There was an important vote in Kambazi yesterday.
I didn't even know there was a Kambazi.
There wasn't until they had the vote.
The socialists were winning 2-1 going into the morning when the army called off the election on account of they didn't like the way it was going.
What we don't need is another new country run by an army. What else do you have?
Billy's story, and you can run the companion piece about the mother and little girl on page 3 and use a picture, too.
It's a lot of space, isn't it, Lou?
Deserves it. It's a great story.
But we don't have to put out a special edition, do we?
Maybe you'd rather have a fold-out map of Kambazi.
All I'm saying is, let's leave a little space for the other news, okay, Lou?
Start in column 3, run over to the next page. What else?
I've got Rossi's story on the jewel thieves. Good reaction from Mrs. Walker, and,
I think we're all a little tired of Mrs. Walker, don't you, Lou?
I hear one more story about her golf.
It's not her fault that she's become a pain in the butt.
Run Rossi's stakeout inside. Kill the Walker interview stuff. I have had her up to here.
I hope you don't mind me paying.
Not at all. I like a woman who's man enough to pick up the check.
There's somebody waiting at your desk.
Oh, excuse me, Lou.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Billy Newman.
Oh, I'm Barbara Shaw, Marla's sister.
Glad to meet you.
Lisa just wanted to say goodbye to you.
That was very sweet. I love your dress. Can I get a better look?
May I talk to you for just a minute?
Oh, sure. Come here, Lisa. Lou?
Huh?
Can you babysit?
I got a lot of work to do, Billy. You know, I didn't even babysit my own kids that much. Okay, Lisa. You can watch me edit.
just wanted to thank you.
Oh, don't.
I'm going to save your stories about Marla and Lisa. And when she's old enough, I'll show them to her. She should know about her mother, about what happened, and that someone cared about it. Thank you.
You see this paragraph here, Lisa? All wrong. It's wordy, it's muddy, and it's boring. Here, you do it. Hey, someday you're gonna make a hell of an editor, kid.
Were King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table fictional characters, or did they really exist? Ancient Mysteries takes us on a magical quest for the truth tonight. Now, a rape victim in shock struggles to describe her assailants. Join us for Police Story, next on A&E.